Alright guys, so I duoed hard mode today for the first time, hard mode Rago, did it with Pyron, a fellow Iron Man, and I thought I'd give you guys a little rundown of what we did, because basically going into this, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know if there were like specific strats for any phase or anything, so we kind of YOLO'd it, and it did take 90 minutes to get a kill. However, we would have got one in 60 minutes, but our auras ran out on phase 11 and we didn't realize, and we lost all our push. So that was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, P1 pretty standard. The bomb tank can't actually tank the bombs here because in the hard mode, if you're climbing and you get hit by a bomb, you can actually get dragged back down. It's like a hard mode mechanic. So poor Pyron has to tank all of the bombs. A little bit rough, but yeah, he smashed it. I know, yeah, we're both in full Crypt Bloom, Penance Powder. You know it, we've got it. Because Crypt Bloom very strong here, as it turns out, very strong indeed. So probably just skip through P2. There's not really anything that really happens on P2, is there? Like the bring me down part, this part, you have less time to do damage in hard mode. Just make sure you chuck on the Omni Power, and that's about it. And then kill it down. And then what we tried to do was we tried to get a sunshine for every phase, and that kind of involved like stalling this ceilings phase for a bit longer than it otherwise would be. You know, check down the sunshine, build to tsunami, staff spec, yada yada. And then we got it fairly low by doing that, and just skip through a little bit. Like we kind of took a while to kill it, just to try and make sure our cooldowns are back up. As you can see, my sunshine there is just a few seconds left, which is quite good for next phase, and my staff spec as well, coming up in 10 seconds, because this phase, this one stings a bit. This is Scopula's phase here. So you have one person tanking all the scops and one person trying to do damage. Make sure you don't tag the scops before the base guy does, otherwise much pain. But basically here I was just trying to AoE them down, big tsunami. I switched to Blood Barrage during Staff Spec as well for the extra crits. And then just try and do lots of damage like he did, like Cade into Immortality. And then I could Cade him as well if I really needed to. Ideally I would just be doing damage, but yeah, it kind of worked out. Animate Dead, very strong here. And the Crypt Bloom effect as well, of course. Yeah, there we go, got my Cade, and then switched around a bit. Bit of a cheeky scop, but as you can see in the top left, Pyron didn't really use food. I didn't really use food either, so yeah. It worked out. Well, say didn't use food. He got a bit ruined there, didn't he? Jeez, he just got one shot. What happened? Okay, apart from that, he didn't really use food. And then another scary phase next is the Vitalis phase, which you do have to kill quite quickly as well. There is a strat you can do, because it does bleeds on this phase, like the melee slams, where one person cades and then intercepts the other guy. We just kind of did the damage route, really, so we just did damage, Sunshine, Tsunami, Staff Spec, and then I switched to Blood Barrage here to try and get some extra heals off of the Vitalis that spawn, so just try and do loads of damage. You can tank quite a bit, obviously, because Animate Dead and Crypt is rather lovely. We do get a couple of bleeds here, so I take one, then he takes another one, he freedoms there, and then it dies, so that worked out. That wasn't so bad. So yeah, it was a doing damage phase, and this phase as well, also kind of a do damage phase. It's a bit weird. Green bomb. We did some like weird bouncing things. Honestly, we didn't really have a plan for this phase. We kind of bounced it a little bit, and then it was like, good luck whoever it's on, because it hits like 10k. So he just got like an on-tick Bitbot there to survive. But, as you can see, like we are not clean by any stretch of the imagination, but like it worked. It worked. So basically sending in, just kill it. I think we got it just before the bomb arrived, because Omni Power is very nice. That's cool. We did have one guy hammering every phase, by the way. We kind of like switched over who hammers. I think he hammered this one, or that one, and then I hammer Team Split down here, which is coming up. I make sure I get the target cycle hammer. Is that affinity buff is very important, because Rago has very high defense. And then here, this one has a bit of a speedier reflex. I did a Tsunami and the Staff Spec, then I to build Adren to try and get my metamorphosis up. Little cheeky divert there, look at that, plus 30% Adren, huge. So now I've got my Adren for metamorphosis, so that's all good. And then here we just completely delete the boss. Worked out quite nicely. Hopefully a big old Omni power, and then watch the boss's HP, and it's gone. So that works quite well. And then next was his purple one, another pretty scary one. I think he got the hammer on this one, so I did a Guthic Staff in return. And basically one guy here needs to barricade and intercept the other guy on the red bombs. So he will spam click all the red bombs, and I will cade and intercept him. Just prevent any explosions, and then after this phase is done, he will cade and intercept me, and tank all the blues and the purples that come through. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, not really much else to report really. It's just sunshine in the purple spot, do some damage, and then it gets pretty low. And then by the time the next thing comes, just skip forward a bit here. Yeah, by the time the next spec comes, it just dies. That's pretty easy. Next phase, waterfall phase, just standard stuff. One guy walks Rago to the other side of the arena after the waterfall, skips the clone, then we get the green bomb, we cade intercept that to skip the attacks again, so pretty standard stuff. I think most people know how to do P4 anyway. And then we come through, and then we make it to phase 10. So this is where things get a bit more difficult. We found that the best answer to the beginning of P10 was just do damage, really. So I sunshine there. He sunshines too, and then we get ready for a nice quick tag. So target cycle auto tsunami, and then staff spec, and then we've got some green bomb shenanigans. And basically we're just trying to do as much damage as we can. Make sure we disruption shield one of those blue bombs, because otherwise we get a bit of pushback, which is not very friendly. I went to tank the bomb there. I don't know if that was the correct move, but I mean it worked. So did that, did the old bit pot, and then we're going to get ready to barricade that part. I want to barricade so we don't get any pushback on the blues. And then Pyron here, he's a bit of a champion. He was looking at the boss, so noticing we were pushing it that way. I did no such thing, so I had Vitalis coming out, and I was focused on this, that my mouse was like here. I wasn't even paying attention to the boss, but he got them all, which is fantastic. That made this a lot easier. A lot easier. Because if you get that Vitalis spec and they spawn, it really messes you up, and you'll get pushback so far. It's pretty rough. But I made sure to hammer this phase. He hammered the last phase at the beginning of it, and then went for a bit of a ride in this one, bit of back and forth. But essentially, there's a green bomb that comes out. I want one of us to tank it, ideally with like barricade set, but also ideally I think we bounce it a bit. Like honestly, we didn't have a plan for this. We didn't have a plan. We just kind of YOLO'd it. So I tanked the 10k, but he intercepted me for it, so he tanked it. And then I just saw my staff was up, so I was like, you know what, let's just do a sunshine. That will do. And then we've got a team split next. I was hoping we can get a bit of a push here before anything bad happens. And we did get quite a few squares, which was nice. Make sure we drop a Magma Tempest or during team split rather. It was a bit late back on there, but I hope that's alright. I'm just trying to do a big push. It's very important that you just do as much damage as you can in hard mode, but also mitigating as much as you can. Me calling out the hammer there, because you see the affinity is back down to 2. We want that up to 7 ideally. I try and pot that, but he bounces it, but I don't have Cade, so I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? But then he's got a Vitality pot, so it's okay. And then because he tanked a green bomb in full, it means we have Reflect straight away. So yeah, as you can see, this is quite a bit harder than if you were in a normal team size in hard mode. But look at that, look at all that push that happened against us. Oh no, we lost so many squares. But looks like we both have FSOA right here, and it's what they say, when there's an FSOA, there's a way. There's also a team split in the way. That's a bit awkward, isn't it? But here, the plan, I don't know why I freed him there, that was a big mistake. But yeah, here, just, do damage to the boss. I switched to Blood Barrage here, partly for the healing, but partly because the barrage autos actually fly through the air a bit faster. Works out quite nicely. Get a few extra hits in, and then we're pushing, push more, go, go, go. And then, there we go. First ever hard mode duo that I have done. I'm sure the kill time was absolute garbage, 17 minutes. But, the important part is we did it. We didn't know what we were doing, and it worked. And honestly, shoutouts to Crypt Bloom and Animate Dead, because that made it a lot easier. It meant that I used, like, 2 food the entire kill, so, like, it's not painful. It's just long, basically. But yeah, not too bad. And this is quite a hard rotation to do on, I think. Someone said that Purple Bomb is a lot easier, apparently. I guess it's largely because Green Bomb just, like, kind of screws you over if you get a lot of them. Like, it's fine if you just get 1 Green Bomb, but if you get, like, more than that, then it can be a bit rough, because it, like, it does 10k damage, resets your defensives and all sorts. It's a bit annoying. But, we did it. And, maybe you can too. So if you have a friend, and you've been thinking about, trying some, like, PVM feats, as it were, then you can give this a go. At least before the Crypt Bloom and Animate Dead, also the Animate Dead and FSOA changes, because as you can see, it's doable. It takes a bit, but it worked. So I don't know. Hopefully this talk through of sorts helped. But I'm quite happy to get a duo hard mode. It was never on my to-do list, but I've done it. I'm quite satisfied. So good stuff. So thank you, Byron, for the kill, of course. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again soon.